So during this video today, I'm going to tell you guys something that I don't think I've ever told anyone. I don't think I've ever even said it out loud before. It's kind of a personal thing, and we'll get to that. I do want to kind of give you guys just a very brief synopsis of what exactly is going on here, because I know some of you guys don't follow stuff as closely as somebody like myself, who's completely wrapped up in everything that's going on with Ashes at any given time. There are two content creators that almost all of you have heard of because you follow some Ashes content, that being Narc and Jalon. They're two of the biggest creators right now, and they were two of the biggest creators when I first got into the space 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Golly, I can't believe it's been that long. So, these guys are kind of titans in our space. And more or less, Narc did a live stream reaction on his Twitch channel of a video that was put out by Jalon, of Jalon reacting to the Ashes of Creation Freehold live stream update. So the live stream update that just happened. And he looked at it for like 3 minutes and then turned it off and wasn't impressed, and I probably talked some trash about him. I don't know. And that caused Jalon to do a damn DMCA strike takedown of that video for Narc, and they gave him a strike on Twitch, which makes it where he can't ever be in the partner program unless somehow he manages to get that strike reversed. It was a pretty dirty thing to do. And if you've been a person who's been involved in my community at all for very long, especially if you've hung out in my Discord very much, I don't make any bones about how I feel about Jalon. I remember when I first started making videos, like as I said a minute ago, he was like a titan in the space, and so I knew who he was. He was making those Ashes 101 videos. I watched them to learn things about the game, and one day I was on Twitch and I saw him live and thought, oh cool, that Jalon guy's on, and I jumped into his stream, and he's like really berating somebody for disagreeing with him. And it wasn't even like a hard disagree, like being mean. He was like just destroying this guy for no reason. And I remember leaving thinking, golly, he's having a bad day, and whatever it was, a few days later, or a week later, a month later, whatever, I happened to be on Twitch. He happened to be live, and I thought, oh, let me go, maybe he's having a better day today. And so I go click on his channel, and he's in there, he's like berating somebody for disagreeing with him. And it wasn't even like a hard disagree. It was just kind of hey, I don't think that's how it's going to go down. And so I started going, oh, that might be this guy's MO. And then over the course of like the next, 4 or 5 months, I stopped in maybe 10 or 15 times. And every single time I stepped in, he was just destroying somebody for disagreeing with him. And I'm like, good God. And then I found out he's a teacher. I'm like, this guy's a teacher? And that's how when somebody disagrees with him, that's how he treats them? Can you imagine that guy as your teacher? That's crazy, So I stepped away from following any of his content. I don't stream, I don't watch him on stream or anything like that. I just said, okay, this guy's, he's toxic. He's a crap to people. I mean, that's the only way to put it. And over the years since then, every once in a while somebody will bring up Jalon, and I just roll my eyes like, that guy, no. It's funny because in his videos you'd come away thinking, oh, he's a nice guy, he's informative, whatever. But if you ever watch his live streams, that facade is shattered immediately, right? So what I got to thinking about when I got home today, there's a video on my channel that is, I think it's called something like How I Became the Leader of a Progression Raiding Guild Without Knowing What Progression Raiding was. And it's the story of my guild in Star Wars: The Old Republic and how it all happened and all that stuff. And it's a pretty interesting video. And if you're interested in that type of thing, go check it out. Basically, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I got thrown into it, and we ended up being pretty successful. One of the questions that gets asked of me pretty frequently, and it got asked a lot during the time that I released that video, is, well, what happened with that guild? It was so successful. What happened? And, I give all kinds of excuses. Oh, these 5 or 6 players, started to get real lives and they kind of went away, or, BioWare stopped releasing as much content, so interest in the game faded, or whatever all these excuses are. But there's a truth that I know, and I've known to be true for years now, and I've never said it out loud. I've definitely never told anybody. Um, I I killed the guild. I killed the guild with my own arrogance, um, by being a piece of crap, by berating people who disagree with me. Um, I killed the guild. There's no other way to put it. I remember one time I got called in to go help a different guild, but it was a very close guild. We were all raided together. The raiding community is pretty small in Star Wars: The Old Republic anyway, so I got called in to help them with a specific boss that they were struggling with. It was Corruptor Zero, if you've ever played it on hard mode. Um, and I went in, and at that time I was so used to being the raid leader that, like, calling out mechanics on over Discord or over, or it had been TeamSpeak at that time, over TeamSpeak is like was second nature to me. So I was doing that, and I helped this guild get through that boss that they had been struggling with. It was a raid group, it was like 16 people who raid together consistently, and I came in and I helped them. And then they went to the last boss of that raid, which the name of that boss is Brontes, Dreadmaster Brontes, and it's a pretty hard fight. Now it's easy now, but back then it was a pretty hard fight, and there were a few mechanics that I've always had a real, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it baffles my mind that there are people who can't perform this extremely simple mechanic. And I remember telling these people in their team speak, it was one of me and 15 of them, that the only reason you die to this mechanic is because you're an effing idiot. Like, I told these people that, and I think back on that, I'm like, good God, dude, you can't do that. And I was doing the same thing to my raid teams, to my guildies. I was berating people. I remember we had a member named Sheev. She's a good friend of mine. Like, we still talk every once in a while. If he lived close, I would hang out with him. He's a good friend. But I remember just being like, all you have to do is not stand in this one spot. How stupid do you have to be to where you can't just not stand in this one spot? Like, really aggressive and mean, and it's like not necessary. And I did. I killed this guild. People slowly left one at a time. People would step out of the raid team. Every time we'd get a good raid team together, I think because I knew how talented the raid team was, I was even more of a jerk because I was really trying to push people to push forward and get the content done. And then, of course, somebody would leave because they didn't want to be a part of that, of the toxic asshole yelling at people. That was me. I let my own, I look at it like I got too big for my own britches. Let my own arrogance overcome me. I definitely let the fact that I was capable of doing this thing that a lot of other people weren't capable of doing, like, control my ego. And I got out of control. I really did. And I killed the guild. I killed a whole bunch of, I didn't kill my friends. I killed the friendships with a whole bunch of people. There's no telling where I would be right now, where that guild might be right now, how many more friendships and close people I would have in my life right now if I hadn't done that. But I did do it, and I realize it very clearly. And there are even sometimes now, whenever I realize I'm doing that, like, there's another content creator. He doesn't make a lot of content for the game right now, and he was hanging out in my Discord a lot. And then one day we were having a discussion, and I got, like, heated about it, about my side of it, and it was like I didn't need to do that. And now he don't hang out in my Discord anymore. He just stopped. Like that day, he stayed in the channel for a few hours, but then he left and he never came back. And so I still do it to some degree today, but it's something that I'm really trying to put a check on and understand that that's something that I do. I can let my ego get me carried away and let me get too big for my britches. It's so funny that I thought I was the man, and I was like a decent raid leader of a pretty good raiding guild on a game where raiding isn't really relevant on the smallest server of that game. It's like, you're nothing, dude. You're a nobody. Why are you getting too big for your britches? But I did. And I think that's what's happened with Jalon. Especially when you're smart, when you're a smart person, it can be really hard to understand how somebody can't get something, or how they can't arrive at the same logical conclusion that you've arrived to after following all the steps. That can be really difficult sometimes. And if you have an ego at all while you're doing that, it can come off really, really badly. So instead of jumping on here, what I wanted to do all day long, I was fuming like I'm gonna come home and I'm just gonna rip into this guy on this video. And then I sat down and this is what has come out. Instead of ripping into somebody, what I'm gonna say is, Jalon, if you ever see this, man, if you do, I know right now you probably still think you're right in all this. You're not. You're not. And I think that the overwhelming response from the community will show you that you're not. But it may take you some time to get there. I've heard that you're going to step away from Ash's content creation, and I honestly hope that you don't do that. Well, maybe you need to now. Maybe you need to now. Just like I had to get away from Star Wars for a long time before I was able to come back and lead a raid team and not be that way towards my friends, or at least not to that degree. You may need to step away for a little while, but I hope that you can step back and realize, okay, I got too big for my britches. I was one of the bigger creators in a tiny little community, and I let it go to my head, and I started treating people in a way that's not okay to treat people. And you come back and you better that up, and you change the way that you present your message to people, because the reality is that you are smart. You're very, very, very smart, and you see things in ways that other people don't see them, and you present information to people that they otherwise would not have thought of, or would have, a conclusion that they never would have come to, or whatever. But you put that in a package that's untenable for most people. And I hope you learn how to repackage that, and then be, what would you call it, a boon or a blessing to the Ashes of Creation community, instead of what I see, and almost everybody that I know that talks about you, and I'm talking about almost everybody, is like, holy crap, that guy is toxic as hell. And I hope you're able to come back from that. We're in America, we love a good comeback story. So instead of coming on here and being a jerk, I wanted to say that. I wanted to tell you guys the thing that I've never told anybody out loud, that I'm the one that killed my own guild with my own arrogance. So yeah, that's all I have for this one, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one.